When we pose the question, what exists? It silences the mind. When we pose the question, there is awareness of existence. Again, it quietens the mind. When we say I is not personal, but it has been taken as personal because we took ourselves as separate selves. So there was me, mum, dad, brother, sister, friend, etc. And so the pointings of some teachers is to remove personalisation and to pose the question, there is awareness of, there is existence. And that quickly depersonalizes a person asking the question, because in truth, we are not personal, but it's the belief that something is personal. And it's not a mistake, it's not an error, it's the way that the human game is played, but we just forgot our true nature. So I'd like to bring forward a practice, because the only thing that really stops us from experiencing who and what we are is the attention. When the attention goes out, it relates with things, people, objects, circumstances. We call it the world. But when the attention is drawn in and brought within, there's no mind. I posted a video a while back where the discovering of attention doesn't actually exist, it is imagined, but that's not always easy to, well, it cannot be believed, it has to be directly experienced that there is no attention, and what is really here is open, clear seeing. Open, clear seeing is the true state of the beingness, but the true state of the beingness gets covered over as we zoom in. It then becomes attention because it's now focused on an object or a thing. So I always point to the way out of this is the way that we got into it, and how we got into it was we narrowed our focus and everything became personal. A body, a world, other people. So a really good practice that I often point people to is to work with the attention and to direct the attention inward and focus on breathing. And it's called breath watching. Because if the attention is focused on breath watching, there's no attention in the head, which is where we can pick up thoughts. There's no attention in the neck area where we feel directly resistance to life. And there's no attention in the chest where the emotions are felt. So if we bring the attention into the core and allow it to become one with breathing so that we are following the breath, then the attention takes a invisible, there's like a sense that it's actually inside. The eyes are open, the mouth is talking, the voice can be heard, but the attention is one with breathing. And it's not to claim the breathing that I am breathing, and it's not to push the breathing away to say there is breathing. If we remove all words and just keep the attention within as it follows the breath. Doing that exercise can cause the body-mind to feel tired. So there's a feeling of tiredness. It is only a feeling. It's not who you are. And the reason that the body-mind feels tired is because that state of consciousness where the attention, it sort of goes in and then it falls away. because the imagined attention's gone and you're just left with clear seeing. But the reason why the body-mind can feel tired is because that is the state of sleep. So as we are falling to sleep, the attention widens. So I challenge you that if freedom is truly what you want, then one of the best places to start is to take the attention, widen the gaze, let it fall out and back, and to do that over and over and over. Or another simple practice that I recommend is that the attention is invited within to be one with breathing, and to notice the breathing, not to control it, let breathing just be, but to watch the breathing as it goes in and out. And it's to really be attentive, but not trying, there's no doer, just simple noticing. What tends to happen is because there's silence, because watching the breath takes the attention away from where there's noise, which is the head, the emotions, the resistance, the human programs of wanting to fix, change, improve, control, wanting to feel secure, all of those desires. Once the attention goes within, what tends to happen is the programs start to rise up and they can feel uncomfortable. And those are called subconscious programs, and they're subconscious because we've never looked at them. And how do we look at them? When we sit down with the breath. So when we are sat with the breath, we will feel the programs, the energetic field coming up. And for some of us, we think, oh God, no, I don't want this. And we go back to how we was prior to resting inside. It doesn't get rid of the programs. It just means that we've resisted them, pushed them away, don't want to look at them, as if we are not responsible. If freedom is what you truly, truly want, and when I say freedom, I don't mean freedom from something, I mean complete and utter freedom. The price that is required is that you dissolve the attention. Once the attention is dissolved, you are the freedom, the happiness that we once looked for in the world, but you are beyond that. But at first, it can be experiencing the freedom, and the longer that we stay there, the more presence power that we have. And that presence power contains joy, happiness, and peace, and it is quite sweet. It's like, oh my goodness, how have I never noticed this? But with that sweet tasting perfume of presence, we experience the programs that we didn't look at and that we pushed away and that we called sub. But the longer, the more frequent, it doesn't matter if you come here 1,000 times in one day and go back out, because that happens because of the habit of the attention. It's just habitual. It's so effortless that if we try to stop it, we are resisting something that's effortlessly happening. But it's to gently bring the attention back, let it rest in beingness, and just be one with breathing, keeping the attention in the breathing. I find it easier to do with my eyes open. Some people find it easier with their eyes closed. It just seems more natural to have the eyes open, because you can also experience the expansion within the world, the openness. So it's the openness and breathing. Freedom is that simple, because when we do that, we are not going out into the world with limiting believing programs. We're just being ourselves. I highly recommend that if there are any retreats that are up and coming, silent sittings are really good. Also, Colette and I have retreats coming up later on this year where the undoing of the psychological programs, the undoing of the habits to go out, becomes more and more and more established. But the ultimate is that if freedom is what you truly want, this will be number one. In fact, it's beyond number one. But we can't expect to experience freedom if most of our attention is going out into the world. The person that it creates can never have freedom, because that is the reason why we are not experiencing freedom. Freedom comes from within. It then becomes the perfume of the being, and that's where we experience unlimited happiness, joy, and peace, and it blesses, and I mean blesses, every area of your personal circumstances. It blesses relationships, it blesses career, it blesses the environment, it blesses the planet, it blesses absolutely everything. But it's just give it some time, because we've spent a lot of time, lifetimes, going out into the world and interacting. Relationships become so harmonious because there's no person there. But it's to understand that the beingness will be tested, and the test is not to see if you're good or bad, or if you've got it or you haven't got it. It's for you to measure how much presence am I aware of being. And if something pulls us very quickly, it's just an indication that we need more satsang, we need more breath watching, we need to, well, we don't need to, but we will benefit from just that clear seeing, the clear understanding that I exist and I am aware I exist. That is awareness, being aware of itself. It's called different things by different teachers, but it absolutely means to be here, present, resting. In that restful state, you will still go about your daily life. It'll just be so synchronized. I genuinely didn't realize that things that happen on a daily, consistent basis are miracles. It's because people tell me that they're miracles, but they're just normal. It's seeing the full synchronicity of life. Life is so synchronized. Every sentient being is innocent. Nobody is, I don't like to use the word guilty, but it's the pure innocence. It's the programming. It's the mind that talks about guilt, right, wrong, good and bad. I invite you to come into the Garden of Eden, where there is no good and evil. However, there's always the right thing to do. And it is just a different flavour. It just, when I say bless, it blesses everything, and everything really is effortless and flow. Everything flows. I could talk about things that happen every day from experiencing life in this state, and every time something happens, the gratitude, the appreciation of the simplicity, every single need is spontaneously met. Nothing is impossible. All of these are the attributes of discovering your freedom. And it's the simple, relax, widen your gaze, have a really, just drink in with a widened gaze, and focus on the breathing from within. Just let it be. When you inhale, you inhale. When you exhale, you exhale. And it's being one with that. It starts to reveal the energetic body. You feel life pulsating in the body. It is so alive. And you will hear intuition more. The wisdom body is so obvious. Your discernment is so obvious. In fact, it's all spontaneously happening. There is no thought directing you to be, do, have, do this, do that, should I have done that? No. The intuitive mind is the gift. It's the greatest gift that we have. And the intuitive mind is not noisy. It just is. It's beautiful and it's pure. I'd like to take the opportunity to wish you a happy Easter if you celebrate Easter. Just use the time, if you're able to reflect that I exist and I am aware that I exist, and you will see for yourself the fruits, the benefits of just being in clear seeing, recognizing yourself as the self. Take care for now.